A lot of us don't ask for what we need. We hint, we stay agreeable, and we keep showing up even when something doesn't feel right. We tell ourselves, it's fine. I don't want to make it awkward. I don't want to seem needy. Meanwhile, our body's buzzing with pain, annoyance, or confusion. Today, I want to walk you through a specific client situation that shows exactly how this happens and how to stop cookie crumbing yourself while still staying honest, regulated, and clear, because I'll show you the exact process we use to move from silent resentment to self honoring clarity without blame or control. Here's what happened. My client asked a friend if they wanted to go to an event together. Their friend said yes, they were interested, but then nothing. No follow up, no plan being made. After some time passed, my client reached out and asked, "Hey, are you still interested in going?" And the response was, "I'm going with another friend, but you're welcome to join us." On the surface, that might sound inclusive, but in my client's body, it landed as very confusing and painful. What they felt wasn't about the event per se, it was about what they needed: consideration. Their body reaction was immediate: buzzing, tight chest, annoyance mixed with, and underneath that was an old, familiar story. I'm not worthy of being considered. I'm an afterthought. I don't really matter here. Nothing catastrophic happened and probably wasn't intentional at all, but something important was missed, and their nervous system noticed it. And what was missed was what they needed, their limits in being there and feeling considered. When we looked at their pattern, they realized they usually respond in one of two ways in moments like this. They would either not go at all, probably not say much, tell themselves, oh, it doesn't matter, pull back quietly while feeling hurt. Or number two, they'd go anyway, pretend everything is fine, be polite, pleasant, and disconnected inside. In both cases, their needs stayed invisible. And the message their system absorbed was, your feelings don't belong here because you're ignoring them. And that's not maturity, that's self-abandonment. Instead of jumping to, what should I say, or should I still go, we slowed it all the way down. And I asked them, what do you really need right now? So you don't abandon yourself, regardless of what you decide to do. Once we stayed with that question, the needs became very clear. They wanted connection. They wanted to feel chosen, not added on. They wanted consideration. They wanted mutual planning for someone to contact them or tell them, hey, I have a friend and I want them to go too. How does that sound? No last minute inclusion. They didn't actually do that work to include them. It had to be my client to reach out. Or clarity. They needed to know whether this friendship had space for them. Naming those needs changed everything because it brought them to a picture of what they needed a friendship to look like. In such a small instance, the buzzing softened, the urgency dropped, and they could think again. That's what Care Package does. It stabilizes you first so the situation doesn't run the show, your feelings, your story, your ingrained belief. And this is why the earlier topics that I've talked about in the Confidence Coming Out course are so important. So we're just going to quickly go through them. Consciousness, number one. They noticed activation instead of dismissing it. They took that time to slow down to do the bias key. And number two, communication. They started to talk to themselves differently. And before they reached out to talk to somebody else or to do something else, they didn't reach out from urgency or confusion, from that emotion. Number three isn't exactly a step. It's actually part of the awareness, the consciousness, the step one, which is your attachment filter, your attachment style, and what it brings to the table, but also understanding somebody else's attachment style eventually once you do your own personal work. They recognized this wasn't about being too sensitive. So they went back to, oh, it was an old wound being touched. And only after that could they ask, what would honoring myself actually look like here? And from that steadier place, they had real options. They could choose not to go without disappearing, or they could name it, landed without blaming. They could really talk to their friend about it, or decide what level of connection felt sustainable. Whatever they chose, it came from self-respect, not resentment or withdrawal. And the goal wasn't to force a different outcome. The goal was to stay intact with themselves and know what that even is. Because I think a lot of the time when we get into that heightened state, that emotional crisis state, all we can think is that we can't really see clearly. And here's the important part. When you stop pretending you're fine when you're not, it becomes very clear who can actually meet you there and who can't. So this dynamic shows up constantly in LGBTQ and polyamorous folks. Many of us learn to accept cookie crumbing instead of asking for what we need, to prioritize access over actual connection and attunement. But when you keep going to things where your needs aren't being met, you teach your nervous system that connection requires self-erasure. Care package interrupts that pattern. It teaches you how to listen to your body, honor your needs, and stop shrinking just to stay included. And if this situation feels painfully familiar, I want you to grab the free confidence toolkit on my website. Just go to raylifecoaching.com. In the show notes, you'll also see the exact link to get there quickly. Click on resources and scroll down. It helps you identify needs before they turn into resentment. Stop going sideways to get your needs met and find a direct route. It's a very quick process once you start it. And build self-trust before making relational decisions. The link is in the description. If you put in your email, all you'll get is the free toolkit. You don't get spam. So if you're polyamorous and in Connecticut or nearby or passing through and are looking for a community, I host a Connecticut polyamorous Facebook group for people navigating real world situations just like this. You don't have to keep doing this alone. So again, just go to the Facebook group and go to Connecticut Polyamorous and you'll find it. You'll see the show notes with that link below. So if you've ever thought, why does this hurt even? Nothing really bad is happening. The answer is often a need for connection or need that's been unmet. It doesn't have to be connection. It could be a need. And next week, we'll talk about what happens when those unmet needs quietly turn into covert contracts and how to move from confusion into clear, consensual requests. Thank you for joining me. Bye.